But then the other thing too is like I've talked to guys and they've said they've never had a girl cook them breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
One reason that women don't do that, like cook breakfast for men, it's a hesitation. Because I have a friend who has cooked for umpteen dudes, and we and her friend group have told her like you should make a cookbook because you cook for so many dudes, but none of them have worked out. But it's like it's when it comes to women, like we think like, oh, if we cook for them, maybe they'll stay. Maybe that'll be too much. Maybe they'll leave.
Is she dating intentionally? Like, were you cooking for your hookups? Yeah. Like, that's not going to change shit.
That's the difference. Like, I think, like, don't ever do anything for someone for tactical reasons. Do you understand? Don't ever think, oh yeah, I'm gonna get with this guy. And I heard on a podcast they say a way to a man's heart is through his belly. So I'm gonna always cook for him. Blah blah blah. Yeah, cool. It might work. But be genuine with it. Just be genuine with it. If you want to cook for him, cook for him. Do you understand? Cook for him. Do you understand? Obviously, know that, that will give me extra points. Yeah. So on a day that you don't want to do it, know that that's going to remove points from man. Do you understand? He might just, cross man out. So just do it genuinely and just be yourself and whatnot. If it's not you, if it's not something that you do, then you're not that. Do you understand? And in the long run, you're going to stop doing it anyway because no one can ever hold a front for so long.
Well, I think that sometimes girls will do things for the wrong guy. And then their conclusion is, let's not do it for any guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what
and then it kind of shoots themselves in the foot because, okay, they cooked and like cleaned and did all this stuff for the player, right? And okay, he didn't appreciate it because he never wanted, he wasn't a husband. Yeah. And so then when she meets her actual husband, she doesn't do it for him and she's jaded. Yeah. And so.
And he's thinking, that's not a wife.
Yeah. And even though maybe she was a wife and she's doing it because she was hurt. But now the next guy, like Kevin Samuels always used to say, you can't make men of the present pay for mistakes of your past. Yeah. That equates to no future. Yeah.
That's a troublesome one. Sorry. Even to continue with what you said, like I think what both of you guys are saying as well is that you need to start doing stuff out of genuineness. Like you can't be so tactical with your thing, like you were saying, because you end up biting yourself in the foot. It's a matter of you should just do it and not expect anything. And you shouldn't, even when you do meet the wrong guy, you shouldn't be like, oh, I'm not going to do it for no one else, because then it's like you're just setting yourself up for failure at the end of the day, because you need to understand these are qualities that guys look. Just because one guy did you dirty on it doesn't mean now the rest of the guys are going to do you dirty on it. Like that's not how it works. Yeah, it comes with the game, but the game is the game at the end of the day. You're going to have some good days and you're going to have some bad days. But you stay consistent, eventually you're going to meet a guy, he's going to appreciate it, and then you lot will move forward together. You just can't be so bitter about everyone that fails, because at the end of the day, the moment you stop is the moment you have to also realize you stop. You have to stop those expectations of trying to find that guy that you want, or that husband that can do you good if you're not doing him good. It's a give and take situation. You got to give to get back.
Well, a lot of times women, we don't take L's very well. Men will take an L with a girl and move on to the next one. Women, we take an L and we're talking about it years later, and we're still like saying men ain't shit over, and we don't take no responsibility for picking the wrong guys. We take no responsibility. It's always on the men. It's never our ability to pick.
Because I think this generation of women have been coddled so much and have been said, it's not your fault, it's his fault. They've heard that so much, it's not your fault, it's his fault. And it's like they've kind of got themselves, they've kind of gassed themselves in the sauce and whatnot. And it's like they won't even see a different way of seeing it, because it's been gassed to them so much.
There's no sense of self-awareness.
Yeah.
And going off of what you said, I saw a comment earlier, and I haven't heard or seen this perspective. Whenever they talk about body count, I'm like, body count 5? When you guys are saying 5, I'm like, man, that's low. But when it was somebody, and I think it was someone who comments frequently, and someone that's a member,
sign up for our memberships.
They said that the reason why body count matters is because each person that a female has sex with, there's something that comes with it, either trauma, either heartbreak, or whatever, hurt, and she's taking that to each person, and either it's going to grow, decrease, or something else is going to attach to it. And I never really thought of it like that, because whenever a woman gets to where she's like, okay, I want to marry this person, and they're in agreement, there's all this stuff from all her bodies that she has that she's taking into it if she never took the time to heal. And so I can...
And it's another guy that he can't live up to.
Yeah. So people call it soul ties around here. So it's like, for example, if you've slept with 5 guys already, and the first guy was kind of like he's always getting angry. Now to the next guy, you're always like you're getting angry more than you often used to, and then that guy was kind of like a crybaby, and you left him, and now you're an emotional wreck on top of the emotional wreck that you are as a woman. Do you understand? And then the third guy, he's got this kind of trait, and then you've taken that into the next relationship. So that's why they call it kind of soul ties, and it's like you're carrying those souls around you.
It's like an energy
transfer. Exactly.
Energy transfer.
So that's
But feminism like lies to women because they'll say your body count doesn't matter.
Exactly.
And you're giving young, and this is what really bothers me about feminism, is I don't like lying to women. You're giving young, impressionable women the wrong information, where you're saying sleep with whoever you want, do whatever you want. And they might make decisions that they can't take back, and it will damage their future relationships. I mean, if a girl is a virgin, she has an 80% chance of being happily married after 10 years.
Yeah.
If she sleeps with more than 5 people, that drops to 25%.
Is that the stats?
Yes. They surveyed women. So that's why it's like around 5, 6 that you see a really significant drop. And like the thing is, feminism keeps pushing things like slut shaming, where men aren't allowed to have standards, and I just don't get with that. Why are we allowed to ask all of these things of men, but men can't ask anything of us? And the things that men ask really aren't that hard.
It's not a lot.
It's don't sleep with too many guys, don't get too fat, and be feminine and a wife.
It's things that you can control.
But when you were when you have a generation of women that just weren't raised by wives.
There's actually
and that's the thing, innit? You're not raised by wives, because obviously there's not that many wives in the society nowadays, and as they say, only a man can teach a man how to be a man. And I think it's the same for wives. Only a wife can teach a woman how to be a wife. I personally think, innit? I think if you're for the streets, you're the only thing you can teach another woman is how to be for the streets. Do you understand? Maybe you can look back and be like, these are the mistakes that I did. Maybe, but as we say, women don't really like taking accountability for the things that they do, and it's hard for them to sit there and admit and be like, I've done a mistake. This is not the way you should go about it if you want to be a wife or whatever.
And the thing is, like, when I've talked to guys like one-on-one about this stuff, where they say like a lot of time, like, guys are willing to forgive a lot, but it's if you're coming, they still come at men from a place of I'm better than you, instead of when they should be like thanking them for like taking them. You know what I mean? But like they'll have a kid and still feel like they're better than the man. Men, like honestly, there's a lot of guys that volunteer to be stepdads. Like, to be honest, I wouldn't recommend it, but it happens.
It definitely happens.
And,
true.
Yeah, but guys are willing to accept a lot if you're coming in like humbly, but girls still come in with this entitled ass attitude when you got 2 kids from 2 different dads. Like, what? You should be begging that man.
It makes no sense.
You should be cooking everything, cleaning everything.
Going off of what you said about how a wife can teach a woman how to be a wife and a man can teach a man how to be a man, can a man that has all the accolades for a high value man, but was raised by a woman, like a single mother, can he still be considered high value?
It depends on how much he invests in time in getting counsel. So whether if he's reading or understanding how to be a better man, or if he's seeking counsel from like the men in his community, it's very difficult for a woman to play both roles and show a man how to be masculine as well as feminine. Yeah, it's what the man does himself. So is he going on self growth? Is he doing self development? All these things.
I think men compete amongst men. Like, you have to compete amongst men. You have to learn amongst men. You know, like whether it's in anything, whether it's in music, like you're with your boys, you lot are rapping to each other. You're doing ciphers. You get me. You get better like if you're hearing your boy doing music, you get better. Do you understand? If you want to become a better gentleman, you have to be around like, you know, more gentlemen and more men that you look up to and whatnot, and be around those kind of circles. That's where you could, like, yes, your mum will teach you how to maybe show love to a woman and how a woman wants to be loved and whatnot, and she can give you that kind of information, but she can't teach you how to be a man. You understand? She can never teach you how to be a man. She can teach you like the nurturing side and what it means to love someone and what it means to like love your kids and love your daughters and love your woman. Maybe she can teach you that, but she cannot teach you how to be an actual man.
Well, and the thing is, I think some girls that didn't have wives as mothers in the pictures can learn it, but they need to learn from a wife. So maybe they seek that counsel from somewhere else, but it's always going to be a factor for them. But like the problem is we don't identify what the problems are as women because we're lied to all the time. So you can't you can't find a solution if you don't know the problem.
Yeah.
And that's like self-reflection, but women just lack that nowadays.
So like I can't even lie, that's a lot. Like they really do. And not